because they brought them up to be the same as they are, and that happens in religion. The parents bring their kids up to be in their religion. So it appears to me that you haven't thought this through because you were taught this when you were young, and I don't blame you for that, because when you were young, your parents molded you into what you are today, and now you're letting this religion, which is only one of, I said 100, but there's more than that, you're letting this religion direct your life. Your life is not yours anymore. Your life belongs to this cult. It's a cult, and your life belongs to it. And you accept that because they tell you to accept it, because you were molded into it. And you're going to continue in your life being on edge, saying, am I doing enough for Jesus? Am I doing enough for the organization? I don't know what to tell you. I think you are being, have been brainwashed and continue to be brainwashed. And how can you say that the other side or the other religions, how can you say they're all wrong if you've never tried them?
Good morning, everyone. Oh, have I got a treat for you today. I know it's been a while since you heard from me, and I'll read part of his email. Thank you very much, Sherman. Very much appreciated. I have never been a JW and don't know anyone who is one. I have watched a few videos on YouTube, including some of yours. I'm amazed at how someone can be drawn into this cult. I know that some people just need to follow something or someone to give meaning to their lives. This is true. Some like the social structure and feel like they're important. The Jehovah's Witnesses, you were told that following them is your life, that you will get paradise if you follow them and please God. In any event, I received a call from a young JW almost a year ago and decided to record it. I missed the first few seconds of it. This is probably nothing you haven't heard before, but I thought there may be something in it that you may find useful. One of the things that struck me was that this young man couldn't answer the simplest questions and really seemed to have no idea what he was talking about. You can use this or not any way you want. I should mention that I am from Canada, and the law is that we can record a conversation if one of the parties in the conversation agrees to the recording. Since I was one of the participants in the conversation, that it is legally recorded. Thank you for what you do to help people get out of this murderous cult. Thank you very much, Sherman. We appreciate it, and we also appreciate you sending us this recording. It is pure gold, let me tell you. And yeah, it is some things that we've heard before, but years ago we used to be able to defend our faith. We could answer these questions. It's obvious they can't anymore. They just want to direct you to jw.org. And instead of playing the whole conversation, I'm going to break in every once in a while with just a few commentary, because I was just dying. I was dying laughing, because it's like Sherman is so brilliant and some great critical thinking questions, and this JW is just clueless. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Program prepared for us, the convention program that is available online. The theme of this convention is Powerful by Faith. So if you access the site jw.org, you can find the presentations that explain many good things about our God and the good news that's coming from God. So this is the website, jw.org.
Okay, who are you?
My name is Octavian. I am one of Jehovah's Witnesses.
Where are you?
Sorry?
Where are you?
I am in Ontario, in Brampton.
In Brampton, Ontario?
Yes.
So why are you calling me?
Because I couldn't go there. I wanted to go and visit this place in New Brunswick. And I said, because of the COVID, we cannot go, we cannot move around, so better call and meet the people this way, if otherwise it's not possible. So we try our best to meet with people and talk with them about good things that we can have from our Creator, our God.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
But I don't understand what this thing is you're saying.
So it is a program. It's online. It's a convention, but it's a program that explains with video presentations, with talks, what we can learn from God's Word, the Bible, how we can strengthen our faith in God, and how our future that God promised is a reality that we can expect very soon.
Very soon? What do you mean?
Yes.
What do you mean a
Like
reality very soon? What do you mean by that?
In the Bible, we have some promises that the times we are living in, when situations all over the earth are fulfilling the prophecies regarding the end of the system
What system?
of things, like a time when God is rejected by man, rejected in their affairs,
Yeah?
as it was in time of Noah. And God will remove the wickedness and bring again the good promise of new things, a paradise here on earth, when the righteous ones will enjoy
When's that going to
the
happen?
food.
When is that going to happen?
According to God's written word, this will be in our time, very, very soon.
So think about what he said. It's going to be very soon, in our time. They're still believing the same thing they did back in the early 70s. This is the exact same thing we heard. It's going to be within your lifetime. Oh, you won't have to go to high school. You won't get a chance to finish school. You won't get married in this system. See, it's the same thing. You'd think they would have learned back in the 60s and 70s, not to be pushing this. But you can see the lies that they tell people. Now, what if Sherman here believed this young man, and he's like, oh yeah, that's what it says in the Bible. But see, Sherman is very smart. He's asking these questions, and he's never been a JW. Doesn't even know one. But see, the general public, they're smart. They're asking questions. And this young JW can't answer it. Well, how do you know it's in our lifetime? For present day. These prophecies are for present day? No. That's what your governing body tells you. Use the same scripture they did back in the 70s. Going on.
But very soon. Now, what does that mean? I'm an old man, so it's not going to happen in my lifetime.
It should be happening in our lifetime.
In my
But
lifetime?
look what Jesus said. For example, when he prophesied about the things that we are seeing today, the bad things that are happening all over the place, it says here I'm reading now from Matthew chapter 25.
Yeah.
Do you have a Bible by any chance?
I don't have a Bible, no.
Oh, you don't have a Bible?
No.
Okay. But I'm gonna refer as it's written here in the Bible.
Yeah, well, I believe you. If you say it's there, it must be there.
Yeah, it's like I'm just looking now to find exactly the verse that I was telling you about. Okay. It's in Matthew. Yes,
How old is the Bible?
Bible? Oh, it was written a long time ago, but it's for us today.
Well, it's for us today. Was it for people back in the, I don't know, the 11th century? Was it for them too?
It was for them, but the Bible speaks about our time. It's
I know.
mostly about our time.
I know,
For example,
but back in the 11th century, it spoke about their time, I would imagine. It hasn't changed, has it?
no, it didn't change, but the prophecies speak about a specific time, and we are living that time.
How do we know
Look
that?
what it says here. I got the verse that speaks about what you said before, that we might see or we might not see these things happening in our lifetime, but it says here, truly I say to you, says Jesus, that this generation will by no means pass away until all these things happen. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words by no means pass away.
Okay, so you said that is for us now, but if that's true, then that must have been for the people back in the 11th century and the 8th century and all that, because it's the same words that people were reading, so they were thinking, this is for us. So this is going to happen in my lifetime, and it didn't happen in their lifetime. It didn't happen in the 12th century or the 15th or the 19th, and now you're telling me it's going to happen now. But what makes you believe that it's going to happen now?
Yes, because what I was reading, Jesus was answering the question. Look at this question that he was answering. The disciple asked him, tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your presence and of the conclusion of the system of things? So the disciples back then were asking Jesus when this time will be, when these things will take place, when is the time when his presence will be, and the conclusion of the system of things. And Jesus was answering and was alluding to a time in the future. And he was saying, you are going to hear of wars and reports of wars.
Yeah.
Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be food shortages, earthquakes in one place of another.
Well, we've had that for the last 1,000 years. That's always happening.
Yes. Yeah, but
that happens all the time. That happens all the time.
Yes, but back then, this could not be verified, as Jesus was saying, all over the world.
What do you mean it couldn't
worldwide.
be?
Like, this is a time when we can see and we can check what Jesus said wherever we find ourselves on this earth.
It couldn't be verified back then? Well, they used word of mouth and stories and passed down stories, oral tradition. They used it back then. Why wouldn't it work now? I mean, the reasoning, can't be it can be verified now? Not really. Not really. But see, I love, how Sherman is thinking logically, and it's like, well, if it's the same thing it was back in the 11th, 12th century, they believed it was true. Well, look at, even after Jesus was crucified, those Christians at that time thought the end was going to be then. And that's the point all of us are making. There is no verification that this was supposed to be a future prophecy that Jesus was speaking about. He was talking to his disciples, and he said, this generation. Well, guess what? It did happen in their generation. Rome came in and just decimated Israel and surrounding countries. So it did happen back then. Oh, well, that was a minor fulfillment. There's no proof of that it was going to be a future event. And he says, we haven't been able to verify it? Oh, my goodness. I just, like Sherman said, I don't know how people would get involved in this cult. I don't know why we stayed in it for 40 plus years. Going on.
Yeah.
Because the Bible is accessible now to everyone on this earth. And Jesus was preaching and saying about these things that will happen all over the earth. This is the time that it's happening. For example, why I'm saying this, one of the signs that Jesus was saying, in continuation, is this good news of the kingdom, so it's the good news of the kingdom, will be preached in all the inhabited earth for a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. So Jesus was alluding that this will be in the future when the good news, he was telling the disciples then, will be preached in all the inhabited earth for a witness to all the nations, and then the end will come. And this is another sign that this good news, we can check today, is being preached by Jehovah's Witnesses all over the earth.
It's being paged?
214 lands.
Did you say it's being paged?
Sorry?
Did you say it's being paged by Jehovah's Witnesses?
Preached. Yes.
Oh, preached.
Yes.
Okay, I understood
Preached.
paged. I didn't know what you meant.
No, preached. Sorry.
Oh.
Preached. In all the inhabited earth. So, even by this detail, it shows that it should be on a time when this will be done.
So, because Jehovah's Witnesses are fulfilling this prophecy that this is good news, that's why we're living in the last days? Well, I'm sure the Christians back in the 1st to 12th centuries thought they were doing the same thing, preaching in all the inhabited earth. I'm sure those that were part of the Crusades thought they were doing the same thing. Why were they such extremists if they didn't think they were doing that very same thing? Just asking. And then he says, Jehovah's Witnesses, the only ones doing this preaching? No. The Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, have 14 million members. Over 14 million members. And our friends who are Mormons say the same thing. We're preaching the good news in all the inhabited earth. And they even add the little dig that we're in more lands that Jehovah's Witnesses are. And we're not banned in all the countries Jehovah's Witnesses are. So this is fallacy. And it's sad that the JWs won't do research. They won't listen to apostate videos like this one that say, no, you're wrong. Your governing body, Watchtower, is lying to you. But going on.
Because God will bring an end to this system when it was announced or witnessed to all. So all people, or all the nations, will have an opportunity to make their stand for God or for this wicked generation that we are living in. So that's why I'm saying.
You think this is a wicked generation?
According to the works that's happening in the world, the confusion, the problems that we have in the world, it means that yes, we are suffering because not only because of the, let's say, earthquakes and natural disasters, but because of people acting wickedly all over the earth.
Well, natural disasters have been happening for thousands of years. That's nothing new. We've had earthquakes for thousands and thousands of, tens of thousands of years. And I don't know why we would think that having earthquakes now is something new. And there's fires every year. I've been alive a long time, and I've never went through a year that there hasn't been forest fires. So why is it so urgent right now?
Because Jesus said that all these things that I mentioned are happening in one generation.
Do you believe this? Do you believe this stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's written, eh?
It doesn't matter if it's written. Do you believe it?
Oh, yeah, I believe it with all my heart.
You do? You really
I
believe
want
this?
Change. Good news.
What?
I want the change in something good that God promised for us.
Oh my God, I think you've been brainwashed.
Oh, Sherman, I love you, dude. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But see, that is how the general public views things like this. It's like the JWs sound like crazy people. They really do. And especially when you're saying, yes, this is the time of the end because this is what Jesus was talking about. Well, if this young JW saw some of the stuff and heard some of the stuff that they were saying back in the later 60s and early 70s, like I did, he probably wouldn't still be a JW because it's like, yeah, what happened back then? The end was supposed to come in 1975. Oh, oops, we made a mistake. Well, what's going to happen now? But see, all joking aside, this is how they lie to people. Now, what if this older gentleman listened to this and started believing it? So how is this older man going to feel, when he gets older and it's like, wait a minute, I was believing a lie, nothing's happening. Well, you can see now why those of us who grew up in this religion, so-called religion, feel. We were lied to. I was told I would never finish school. My daughter has finished school. Yes, Watchtower lied. We are growing old in this system of things. Armageddon hasn't come yet. And it's sad because they still hang on to that last shred of hope. The doubts are there, like we've mentioned before. Mike's mom, I'm going to die in this system. Yeah, you and me both. I'm sure my mom's feeling the same way. I'm going to die in this system. She just turned 80, 81. And your Savior that is going to bring this paradise is not showing up. And this is why we keep doing videos, to educate the general public.
Is Jehovah's Witnesses the
Yeah.
first religion that approached you to join them?
Actually, I was brought up in this religion.
Oh, you were brought up in it, so you don't have any experience in any other religions.
As I talk with many people, yes, in this regard.
So what about
Yes.
the other religions? Are they all wrong?
It's up to their fruits. No, Jesus said that their fruits will tell you how good or wrong they are.
No, but I'm asking you. I don't care what Jesus said or what the Bible says. I'm asking you whether you think all the other religions are wrong.
I cannot judge because it's not my place to judge other religions. But looking in God's Word, God is the one who judges who is serving Him and who is not serving Him, no? Because religion means worshiping God. If we worship God in a way that He approves, or we worship other things, it's up to God to judge who is a true worshiper, who is not a true worshiper.
So
that was
how,
from the very beginning the same.
How do people worship God? What do you have to do to worship God?
Exactly. We have to check His Word, because He, in the Bible, He explains what He expects of us to worship Him in the way that He approves.
And what does He expect of us?
Look, I read exactly from the Bible because I don't want to be my word. I'm looking now.
Well, I want to know what you think. I don't want to know what the Bible thinks. I want to know what you think. What do you think? What do you do to worship God? What do you do?
I am reading the Bible, studying the Bible, and I am doing things according to what is expecting of us.
How many times have you read the Bible?
I read the Bible daily, but not all the Bible, obviously. I'm reading a portion of the Bible daily.
Yeah,
In
so
order
you read a
to-
portion every day, so you must have read all the way through it by now.
Oh, yeah.
How many times?
At least twice.
Twice.
So he's read it twice. This is Watchtower's Bible study program. They give you, portions, and they tell you to read the Bible. And, our friend ex-elder's wife, Jane Doe, she has mentioned this several times, that there's parts that appear so boring, like Chronicles and a lot in the Old Testament. And they won't go and read every single word and comprehend. They just kind of skim through that. That's how so much of this stuff gets missed. But it's funny because you can hear, the JW, he can't answer the simplest questions. And I see what Sherman is trying to get him to realize. If you grew up in this religion and you haven't thoroughly investigated other religions, then how can you say the other religions are wrong? Of course, he said, we can't judge, but we know that is a lie too. We can go back to probably thousands of articles and quotes in their literature here where it says that only Jehovah's Witnesses will survive, and that all others are false religions that they call Christendom. They're the only true religion. And they're the only ones that have Jehovah's Holy Spirit. And along those lines, I'd like to read something from this one. This is the 1973 Watchtower Bond volume. That's why this old literature is so valuable. Why we hang on to it. This is from the July 1st, 1973 Watchtower. Now think about this for a minute. This is right before 1975. 2 years before 1975. And like I mentioned before, this is what they were preaching. Page 402. Paragraph 4. You'll have to excuse me. Don't know where my glasses are. Consider, too, the fact that Jehovah's organization alone in all the earth is directed by God's Holy Spirit or active force. That young JW knew about this article. He could confidently say, oh yeah, I know, all other religion is wrong. We're the only ones that have Jehovah's Holy Spirit. See, they don't know this old literature. Okay, going on. Only this organization functions for Jehovah's purpose and to his praise. To it alone, God's sacred word, the Bible, is not a sealed book. How arrogant. Them alone? They don't say stuff like this much anymore. At least not in the public arena. Many persons of the world are very intelligent, capable of understanding complex matters. They can read the Holy Scriptures, but they cannot understand their deep meaning. Yet God's people can comprehend such spiritual things. Why? Not because of special intelligence on their part, but as the Apostle Paul declared in 1 Corinthians 2:10, it's the Spirit. It's the Spirit. Going on. Jesus Christ preached his Heavenly Father for hiding such things from the wise and intellectual ones, but revealing them to babes. How very much true Christians appreciate associating with the only organization on earth that understands the deep things of God. Not anymore. This young JW can't even answer that question. Paragraph 5. Direction by God's Spirit enables Jehovah's servants to have divine light in a world of spiritual darkness. I'm not seeing that in this conversation. I could answer those questions Sherman is asking if I was still a JW. I don't agree with it, the answers now because that's Watchtower's answers and we know they're wrong. That is why it's so easy for us now to defend what we say and tell everybody Watchtower is lying, they're false prophets, and look at the crap they were saying years ago. They're the only ones Jehovah is using. They're the only ones with God's Holy Spirit. That's why these kind of recordings are great. Even Sherman understands that, and he was never JW. But I loved it, though, when he told this JW he was brainwashed, because it's true. Some may not like the term brainwashed, and they get defensive about it, but guess what? It's true. They're so indoctrinated, they won't go outside of Watchtower literature and investigate. Signs of a cult going on.
Yeah, because I'm not reading as a book, like just being as a book. We are studying the Bible, like looking into it, especially the things that pertain to us or help us to better ourselves.
I don't understand. If you read it, why do you have to keep reading it over and over and over and over? Why do you have to keep reading it? If you read it once, if I read a book, I read it once and I say, oh, that was a good book, and I don't read it again.
Yeah.
Why do you have to keep
the Bible
reading?
is different from all the books that is they are out there, because God's word is alive, says the Bible, and the Bible is affecting our life. Every time we read in the Bible, it's like listening to God talking to us.
Oh.
And this, yes. For example, look what it says regarding what we were talking. I found the verse what we were talking before. It says here, really then, by their fruits you will recognize them. Because Jesus was talking about who will be accepted by God as doing a worship that is accepted by God or recognized by God. It says here, really by their fruits you will recognize them. Not everyone saying to me, Lord, Lord, will enter into the kingdom of the heavens, but only the one doing the will of my Father who is in the heavens will.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes.
If I'm a good person, I do good things, but I'm not religious, does that mean I'm going to hell?
No. Actually, there is no hell according to the Bible.
Oh.
It's only the grave. Yeah.
So if I'm a good
teaching
person,
about the hell, it's a teaching that is not in the Bible. That's why it shows that the true religion is the one who teaches what the Bible teaches. The teaching about hell is not in the Bible.
Oh, I didn't know that.
From
okay, but if I'm a good person and I do good things and I don't hurt people during my life and I help people, does that mean if I'm not religious, if I don't have a Bible in my house and I don't go to religious service, then I'm not going to heaven?
No, you benefit from doing what is right in your life. You get reward, your reward, because you have a good conscience, you have a clean conscience, and you are in peace with yourself. But in order to get reward from God, according to what I just read it to you, we have to do the will of God.
Which is what?
Yes, this is why we are studying the Bible, to know what the will of God is.
Well, you should know you should know you're in that religion, and you called me, so you must be experienced in all this, so you should know what's the will of God.
Yes, of course, and I'll tell you right now. According to the Bible, it says here, this means everlasting life or life. Actually, everlasting life is a promise from God. They are coming to know you, the only true God, and the one whom you sent, Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our duty, to taking knowledge about God.
And see, right there is the scripture they use about doing the will of God. and they miss one important part of that scripture. Taking in knowledge and knowing God and the Son. It says nothing in there about preaching or getting baptized. But yet that's the dogmatic beliefs of Jehovah's Witnesses. See, he's simplifying this for Sherman, but we all know they have a whole list of rules and regulations and preaching and giving everything to Jehovah and the organization. Being a slave. So I find this a bit deceptive. It's a good thing Sherman is bright and he's thinking critically. And great job, Sherman, because you're asking some great questions. And he's not an apostate. He never was a JW. But yet, he knows where this religion, this cult, is coming from. And this is how they indoctrinate people. Right out lie to them. They catch them at vulnerable moments. And I know that's what happened with my mom. So, going on.
Yeah.
To come to know him closely.
Yeah. How can you know him closely? You can't see him. You can't.
Yeah, sorry.
How can you know God closely? You can't see him. You can't talk to him. You can't take him fishing with you. So how can you know him closely?
By learning about him from his word, the Bible. That's why I was telling you that the Bible is very important for us. It's not only the book, it's a way of approaching or knowing God. That's why we read the Bible.
So in other words, this is a one-way street. I have to do everything. God doesn't have to do anything. He just has to sit there and wait for me to go and say, look, here I am, please be my friend and go fishing with me or whatever. He doesn't have to do a thing. He just sits there.
He says here, for example, I read again from God's Word. We have to develop faith. Moreover, it says here, without faith, it is impossible to please God well. For whoever approaches God must believe that he is, and that he becomes the rewarder of those earnestly seeking him. So I'm reading from the Bible. I was reading this quotation from the Bible. So it's not only approaching God, it's believing in him that he is a rewarder of those seeking him.
Wait now,
so
this I don't.
Not only one state.
This I don't get. I don't get this. God says that I have to believe in him.
Right.
Now,
yeah.
when that sounds like a scammer who calls me and says, I'm going to send you $3 million, believe in me. And I have to say, oh yeah, okay, I believe in you because you said it was so. So God says, believe in me and I'll give you great things. Well, it's the same as the scammer told me. He said, believe in me and I'll give you all this money. And I could actually talk to the scammer on the phone. I can't even talk to God. And God says, believe in me and I'm going to give you eternal life. I'm going to give you all this stuff. What's the difference between God and a scammer?
Is this. It says that faith in God, faith, is the assured expectation of what is hoped for, the evident demonstration of realities that are not seen. So God doesn't expect us to believe in him blindly, but to have a demonstration, like to have a proven fact of realities, even that sometimes we don't see them. For example, I'm reading from the Bible again. It says here, for his invisible qualities are clearly seen from the world's creation onward, because they are perceived by the things made, even his eternal power and Godship, so that they are inexcusable. So what we see around us, it's a demonstration or it's a proof that God exists, and it's about his qualities.
Whoa, now, no. You said all of this stuff is proof that God exists because we
Yeah,
live
nature, the
on
book
this
of
world.
creation, yeah.
Because we live on this world. I just can't accept that because somebody wrote it in a book 2,000 years ago. When they didn't understand science, they didn't understand about the universe and astronomy and the evolution of our solar system and the galaxies and the whole universe. They didn't know. As far as they were concerned, the Earth was flat. And so I have to rely on somebody who wrote something in a book 2,000 years ago to say, oh, it must be true because this guy 2,000 years ago said it was.
Good point, Sherman. Some excellent points. And you're right. What if a scammer called and said, I love that. I love that analogy. That was brilliant. And as you can tell, the JW can't answer it. Go to the Bible. Well, you have to believe the Bible because it says it's from God. And the thing is if somebody wants to believe in it and, a certain religion, go ahead. I don't care. That is your prerogative. But why do all of them have to push their beliefs and their religion on the rest of us? And that's where I have an issue because I don't want to believe the same way as a Jehovah Witness now. My JW family are shunning me. And we all have the same experience. Our JW friends and family are shunning all of us. Won't have anything to do with us. Just because we choose not to believe this stuff anymore. And that is where the crux of the issue is. And I'm so thankful for ones who do recordings like this because it shows this is crazy sounding. This is crazy sounding. And he's right. A scammer calls you up and you're like, yeah, right, you're just a scammer. But yet this book says, if you do not believe in the God of this Bible, he's going to kill you. No. So, going on.
No, it's not like that.
Well, it
What you
sounds
said
like that.
about science, how it helped us to understand things around us, and even things that we cannot see in the universe, because we cannot see with the bare naked eye, but we believe them because they saw it, somebody saw it, and they had the telescopes and everything that helped them to see them.
Yeah.
It's not that they created them. They just discovered the many things that were here, already here. Somebody was in charge, doing, design it, help them, bring them into existence.
Well, that's a
This
bit.
is not a science. He's not a scientific man. We just discovered the laws. We don't. Sometimes we don't know the lawgiver, but we see the laws in the universe. We see them working, and we just benefit from them.
Okay.
Could be,
So how old is the Earth?
The Earth,
How long?
old.
How long has it been here?
It's hard to imagine. It's very, very, very old for us.
But I
We don't
mean,
know exactly when it was created, but it's very old, obviously. Many things were.
it says in the Bible, God created the heavens and the earth.
Yes, he created them. That's the true story, because we see everything. It's here for us.
Okay. See, what I don't understand is, it says God created the heavens and the earth, and
Right.
now, did he put them in place where they are now, or does the Big Bang exist? You must know about the Big Bang theory.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so is that what God created, the Big Bang? Or did he just forego the Big Bang and just set everything in place where it is now so that the earth would support life? Now, who put all the air here and the oxygen and the minerals and everything so that life could be supported?
Exactly. You see, Yeah, exactly as you said. Somebody put everything in place, otherwise life couldn't be the way we know it. And looking around us, everything is just for us, like it's not against us. But the Big Bang, yeah, it shows that somebody had to start these things. And it's obviously it's God.
What do you mean
Learning Big
obviously?
Bang,
That's not obvious to me.
sorry?
That's not obvious to me. It might be obvious to you, but it's not obvious to me that it was God.
Hmm. But even now, as I read, even today I read in the news, they are still discovering new things in astronomers about our universe. It seems even the theories that they made about Big Bang and other theories are still under revision now because they find more things in the universe. For the black holes, for example, I just read how black holes are producing actually matter in the universe. So
Yeah.
we cannot just go blind and accept everything that is said today, because tomorrow we find more things about the awesome things that are happening in the universe, not only on our planet. So we are keep discovering things, but it's
Well,
not like we make them; we just discover them.
of course,
But the
we're
maker is
discovering them.
God. That's the big thing.
And the thing is, our universe is, I believe I read, is 1.4 million light years across, or something like that.
Can be, eh? It can be.
And we think that the universe is a certain size, but I don't believe that either. I believe the universe is much, much larger than that,
Exactly.
probably by 100-fold or more, because we can only see the parts of the universe where the light has had time to travel to the Earth. So we judge it to be 1.4, I believe it's trillion years across, light years across, when it's probably much bigger. All that means is the light has only had that much time to travel to the Earth. So it's much bigger than we think it is. And we're one small planet in that big ecosystem.
Exactly.
Do you think there are other planets with life on them?
I think, as you thought about the universe is infinite according to our experience, life experience, because these numbers are totally too high for us to even comprehend. So it's
Oh yes, our brains can't understand this, and I realize it's very immense. It's huge. That our brains can't understand it. We can't process that information, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm just wondering if, given that there are 20 billion stars in our galaxy, in the universe are 20 billion galaxies, that really puts the odds in favor of life on other planets.
Yeah.
Do you think there is?
For me, all these numbers that you mentioned, it shows the eternal and the power and Godship that God Jehovah has. Like, He's not limited by our mind and our experience. According to what the Bible says, we are created here for the earth, and other planets are not existed for right now, but we are part in a history. Like Jehovah God has many plans for this universe that will include us too. It's hard to comprehend exactly the things that God has in store for us, even for the future. But everything that is created will be revealed to us once we get, again, as Adam and Eve were, in a good relationship with God. So looking forward for the time when the wickedness is removed, we get in a good relationship, a friendly, very friendly relationship with God, and God will provide the answer for many of our questions.
Yeah, okay.
Now here comes a great question from Sherman. Wait for it.
Okay, can you please, have you ever questioned your religion? Whether it's right or wrong, have you ever questioned that?
The Bible says we have to question it all the time. We have to verify
So
if we are in the truth.
so you have
by reading the Bible, I'm not only questioning but looking for answers all the time. So
yeah, but you're only
these are
looking for answers in the Bible.
right.
You're not looking for answers outside the Bible.
No, I'm looking. I'm accepting all the facts that are around us by looking at how they corroborate with what I know and what I learn.
Well, with
the
what you
Bible.
think, not
I trust
necessarily
this
know.
source.
You're a Jehovah's Witness, so you must know about this. Now, I don't know a lot about Jehovah's Witnesses. I've heard a little bit, and I've learned a little bit over the years. What's this practice you have of shunning people who are not in your organization, or they join it and then they leave and you shun them? What's this about?
Oh, shunning people.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. What you mean is the people who, let's say, the way it's written in the Bible, refuse to apply what the teaching that God explained to us or taught us. You approve of them, and after that you disown them.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're not any more part of being one of Jehovah's Witnesses. But
well, I understand that you're not part of it, but from what I've understood is that you can't even talk to them. They're no longer your friends. They're outcasts in your life because they don't belong to Jehovah. That sounds to me like a cult. That doesn't sound like a religion. God is about love. God's not about hating people. He's not about shunning people. God doesn't say, oh, you don't want to follow me, then I hate you. I won't talk to you. I won't do anything. That's ridiculous.
it is.
It says God is about love. So if somebody joins your organization and then they decide it's not for them and they leave, and whoever these elders are or these people say, oh no, you can't have a fellowship with them, you can't hang out with them. To me, that is not love. You're showing that your friendship with them is conditional. If I'm a friend of somebody, it's unconditional. But your friendship is conditional. It has to be, they have to believe like you do, or you're not their friend. Well, how come you don't have to believe like they do, or they're not your friend, or you're not their friend? I just don't get it.
Okay, so the fact that we are talking now, it means that it's not like that. We are not shunning people. Here, according to what the Bible says, those who know God, know Jehovah God, they got in a relationship with Him, by knowing Him, by promising to serve Him, and after that they reject God. It's like rejecting everything that God stands for.
No, that is not true. That is not true at all. They're not rejecting God. They're rejecting the religion. Perhaps they're going to another religion, and they're worshiping in another religion, so that doesn't mean they're rejecting God, because there are many religions on the world. There's not only Jehovah's Witnesses, there are many religions.
Right.
So, you can't say that they're rejecting God, because they're not. They're rejecting the Jehovah's Witness religion.
Yes. Yes.
So if
they are rejecting Jehovah's God religion, it rejects everything that belongs to it, no?
And there you have it. Like he said, Jehovah and the organization are one. They cannot separate the two. If you reject Jehovah Witnesses, Watchtower organization, the governing body, then you're rejecting God. And that is what they believe. No, now, my whole time I've been in Jehovah's Witnesses. Going on.
No, not necessarily. They're changing religion. They don't want to worship with Jehovah's Witness. They want to worship with the Catholics. They still believe in God. They still want to worship Him, But they just don't want to do it with the Jehovah's Witness organization. They want to do it with the Catholics. So they didn't reject God. They didn't reject his teachings. They didn't say, I'm not worshiping him anymore. I'm just changing the way that I worship him because I'm going to the Catholics instead of Jehovah's Witnesses. What's wrong with that?
It's not wrong, because we have a choice to do whatever we want.
Of course.
That's from the very beginning. Adam and Eve, for example, they chose not to serve God. That doesn't mean that Jehovah kept them in his family.
Yes, but if
rejected them too.
If somebody leaves the Jehovah's Witness organization and says, I'm going to worship with the Catholics, they get shunned, they get disfellowshipped from the organization, and your people won't even talk to them anymore.
Oh, I know that I see that you know some things. Yeah, if they want to
I haven't lived all this time for nothing.
Obviously, they are not part of Jehovah's Witness anymore. I accept this.
Yeah.
And once the same, somebody who wants to be one of Jehovah's Witnesses, they are not part of other religion anymore, because it's obviously it's one way. Like it's not, let's say, you do all the religion at once. You have to decide what is your religion, what you feel that
No.
is the way of your worship. Yeah.
I don't have to belong to a religion to be a believing person. I don't have to say I'm going to go to Pentecostal church because I have to choose. I don't have to choose because there's only one God. If there's one God, why are there 100 religions? And so Jehovah's Witness is only one of those religions. And why do I have to go with that religion and not one of the 99 other religions? So what I'm thinking, the way I feel is, if I want to be religious or I want to follow God, I don't have to join a man-made organization, because all these organizations are man-made. They're not God-made. They never existed when the earth was here tens of thousands of years ago. These organizations didn't exist. Man created them. So why do I have to join a man-made organization, creation, to follow God? I don't get it. And don't give me the answer that God created this organization so I could follow it, because that's what the leaders of the organization will tell you. They'll say, God created this organization so you can follow us. Well, every organization out there and every religion is going to tell me the same thing. The Catholics are going to tell me that God created the Catholic organization so I could follow them. The Protestants are going to tell me the same thing. The Baptists are going to tell me the same thing. The Jehovah's Witnesses are going to tell me the same thing. So everybody is telling me the same thing, and out of them all, 99% of them are lying. Because only one of them can be true.
Exactly. Right.
And you think the Jehovah's one is true because you grew up in it. You didn't check out the other ones. You didn't see who's out there, see what organizations are out there. You didn't look for the truth. They told you this was the truth and you believed them.
That's your assumption about me, but I'm convinced about the things I read and I learn, and this would be the same for you. If you read the Bible and you look at what the Bible says and you check according to the Bible, what religion is the one who not just say, but they act according to what the Bible says, then you have found the right religion for yourself too.
No,
it's up to us.
I don't agree with you. I think that you were born in the religion, you got brainwashed into it, and they told you what to believe. You know that any child growing up is molded by their parents, and they believe what the parents tell them, and they do what the parents do. That's why in our justice system, so many robbers and and thieves in jail have children who are robbers and thieves because they brought them up to be the same as they are, and that happens in religion. The parents bring their kids up to be in their religion. So it appears to me that you haven't thought this through because you were taught this when you were young, and I don't blame you for that, because when you were young, your parents molded you into what you are today, and now you're letting this religion, which is only one of, I said 100, but there's more than that, you're letting this religion direct your life. Your life is not yours anymore. Your life belongs to this cult. It's a cult, and your life belongs to it. And you accept that because they tell you to accept it, because you were molded into it. And you're going to continue in your life being on edge, saying, am I doing enough for Jesus? Am I doing enough for the organization? I don't know what to tell you. I think you are being, have been brainwashed and continue to be brainwashed. And how can you say that the other side or the other religions, how can you say they're all wrong if you've never tried them? You know the old saying, walk a mile in my shoes before you criticize me? Okay, walk a mile in somebody else's shoes and see what they're about. Don't just stay in your own lane and never experience anything else. You're going to go through life and you're going to get old and you're going to say, what the hell did I do with my life? I wasted my entire life. If you don't walk a mile in somebody else's shoes, I feel sorry for you, because you're not giving life a chance. You're not discovering things for yourself. You're letting whoever tell you how you should exist, how you should be as a human being. Now, I went back and I said to you, if I'm a good person throughout my life and I do things for people, and as a matter of fact I did, I worked in Haiti for 10 years, and my last stint in Haiti, we had a houseboy working for us, and his house was destroyed in the earthquake of 2010. I came home, and I went to a newspaper, and I set up a bank account to raise money to build him a house. I raised enough money, I went back, he was able to build a house with the money I raised. I think that was a good thing. So, if I do... Yes. And and you said that God is not going to send me to hell because there's no hell, but because I'm a good person, I did good things. So why do I have to belong to a religion to be a good person? I don't have to. I can be good without giving all my money to a religion that already has multi-billions of dollars. Instead of doing that, I'll take the money I have and I'll help somebody locally. I'll help a poor person locally. I'm not going to give it to this organization when you've got people at the top of the organization who are living in mansions, who have 3 or 4 cars or more, and they're living the high life, and the people at the bottom are barely making it. They have no money. This to me is a cult when the people at the top are rich, they're very wealthy, and the people at the bottom keep giving them money, even though at the bottom they're sacrificing and they're doing without. Sometimes they can barely feed their kids, and they believe all this stuff that, oh, God will look after you. Well, you're going to exist anyway. You're not going to die. The government won't let you die. The government will take over. They have welfare programs. They have food programs. The government won't let you die. However, the Jehovah's Witnesses and other religions, not just Jehovah's Witnesses, they will say, see, I told you God would look after you. Well, God didn't. The government did. The government has programs in place. You cannot die from starvation. You can always get help. But they'll say, oh no, God helped you. Well, it wasn't God. Sorry, I'm ranting because this
No, it's fine. I totally agree with you because the Bible says that the false religion will be judged by God and will be destroyed. So it is in Revelation chapter 18, but it's speaking exactly what you said. They were taking advantage of poor, they were taking advantage of people, they were doing all the things that you mentioned.
You don't think
And plus of that, it says here...
And you don't think Jehovah's Witnesses are doing that? They're not taking advantage of poor people? Yes, they are. They tell them not to get an education. They tell them, come and help us build kingdom halls in all these other countries, but we're not going to pay you for it. You're going to give us free labor. And then they get all this free labor. They build these big buildings, and then a few years later they sell them and make a huge profit. Did you see this video of one of your leaders, I forget his name, in the liquor store buying $800 worth of booze?
No.
Did you see that?
No.
Apparently you have 8 elders who run this organization, or 8 people, whatever they are. One of them, he's a big alcoholic, and there's a video online of him in the liquor store on a Sunday morning when he should have been in church, on a Sunday morning buying $800 worth of scotch, a very expensive liquor. And somebody asked him if he knows about what this tastes like, and he said, oh, my wife really likes this. So he wasn't buying it for anybody else, he was buying it for himself. $800 worth of liquor because his wife liked that kind, so he bought that. So him and his wife both are drinking it. I don't know if your religion says you can't drink or not. But these are the things that really upset me, because these people keep you blind from the real world so that you only believe in them and you follow them. Because once they've got you hooked, they're able to get everything out of you that they can, and then when you have nothing left and you say, I'm leaving, they want nothing more to do with you. They won't even be your friend. Is that godly? If somebody stumbles along the way, you don't kick them while they're down. You try to pick them up again. But they don't. They just kick them while they're down and kick them out. So I'm not sure you've seen if you've seen that video of your alcoholic leader buying his. And where do you think that $800 came from? Came from your pocket? It came from the pocket of one of your friends, because they put their last penny in this contribution thing.
Yeah, I understand your concern. I understand that media is always there to inform us, and not only with good things, but it can be all kinds of information we have in media. We have to do our research. I approve this. We do our own research, and we have to be convinced of what we are doing in life.
I know. I remember.
Obviously. But it doesn't mean that to learn about witnesses, I am looking at those who are throwing stones or who are criticizing. That would be my educational work in my religion. So
I remember.
I have another way of learning about things than watching or trying to see who has something to say bad about. Like when you have a good coin, true money, or like you cannot look at every false money in order to see that you have the true one. You have to search and to be convinced of the bill you have.
Okay.
You look at the bill, you trust it. This is not a fake bill, it's a true bill, because you know it. And now you don't have to collect all the fake bills just to make sure that you have the original or the good one. So this is in my view of finding religion, is to do my best to find what is true according to the best source that we have at hand, that's God's Word.
Okay,
And
tell me this.
according to this, we can check this.
Tell me this.
But according to false religions, they will disappear. That will be God's judgment.
Yeah,
And
but
I trust that. I trust completely that. God is the best judge, not man.
all right.
But God.
Tell me this. How many religions have you checked out?
Talking with people.
Not talking with people.
You
You have to talk to people. People are out there. You have to talk to them. I mean, how many have you really checked out? Have you gone to one of their services and see what they say? Have you gotten somehow involved?
You don't really have to go that far. When I talk with
yes,
people,
you do have to go that far.
What they learn, how they learn, what is based their learning off, and that's a lot.
Listen, if your religion,
the religion is not a temple. The religion is people who are acting or believing things.
If your religion is the right one, and if you believe God protects you, if your religion is the right one, then you should have nothing to worry about by attending a service in another church. You're not being hypocritical.
Like
you're going there to find out so that when somebody talks to you about it, you have knowledge of it. The only thing you have knowledge of is the Jehovah's Witness religion, what they tell you to believe. Whether you actually in your head believe it or not, I don't know. But the only thing you know is what the Jehovah's Witness have told you all your life. You have not gone out and done research. Have you gone to a Catholic service? Have you gone to a Baptist service? Have you gone to a Pentecost service to find out what they're about? No. You just sit in your own little bubble.
It's public. Everything is public. You can hear them. You can see them. It's not it's hidden. So
it's not. No, I'm not talking about that. You're trying to gloss over the situation. You're trying to justify never ever having done this, and you have never checked them out. You only believe what people tell you to believe. That's a very weak-minded person, and that's a brainwashed person, because you don't believe anything except what they tell you to believe. They told you a passage in the Bible, and then they told you what it meant. So your brain cannot figure out what it meant, so they told you what it means, and you accepted that. Why? Because you think they're smarter than you are? No, they're not. I think you're smarter than they are. And I think you should do your own research. I don't think you have to believe everything man tells you. And of course they always go back to this thing, well, he's being directed by God. No, he's not. He's telling you what you want to hear or what will keep you in the organization and keep you giving money to the organization. So these heads of the organization, this alcoholic, can go out every month and buy his $800 worth of liquor from money from your pocket and from the pocket of poor people beside you.
I appreciate your concern. No.
I just, this really upsets me because I don't think these are good people. I think they're people taking advantage. And I think they're finding gullible people like you, and I'll say it. I think you're very gullible. They find gullible people to take advantage of, and as long as they can keep you in their flock by telling you fancy words and fancy interpretations of what the Bible says, a book that was created 2,000 years ago, then they've done their job. So just keep giving us money. Keep giving us that 10% of whatever you make so that we can buy our $800 worth of booze every month. And that's just one example. Can you imagine what's going on without your knowledge? They just keep you in the dark. All they want you to do is serve them. Were you born to be a servant? You're born to be a leader. Why aren't you a leader? Why aren't you out there getting a job of being a leader? Not being a servant to these people. You can be a servant to God without having to serve these people and serve your church. Like I said, I don't belong to any church, but I'm a good person. And I just can't understand why people would let themselves be sucked into an organization like this and give up their entire life to this organization. We only have one life. That's all we have. And
different.
we only have.
I'm looking for having a rewarded eternal life if I am serving God the way He pleases.
Oh,
And,
don't listen. Hey,
I am.
don't be
Thank you
stupid.
for.
Don't be stupid. Don't be
No,
stupid.
no, I am not.
You're looking forward to having eternal life. Give me a
Yeah.
break. You don't think if you're a good person that you'll have eternal life. You think you have to serve. You have to serve this organization in order to have eternal life. This organization didn't exist when Jesus was born. And you think nobody back then ever has eternal life? So why do I have to have this organization to have eternal life? Why can't I be like the people back then? If you want to believe the Bible was written 2,000 years ago. None of those people belong to an organization. So why do I have to belong to this organization, or I'll never have eternal life? That just doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all.
I really understand the way you are talking, but again, we
I know
have different opinions because I trust what the Bible says. You never read the Bible, and you don't trust the Bible, so obviously it's a difference here. Since
okay,
it's two different ways, two different sources of information. Obviously, there is no point of contact between, because you expressed exactly what I found in the false religion. I call it
a false religion? Are you kidding me? All religions are false, so give me a break. All I have to do, I have to be a good person, and I am a good person. I don't have to belong to any religion to have God's favor.
You have your own choice, and it's, I appreciate that. Nobody will.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I can see we're getting nowhere here. We can beat around the bush forever. And listen, I'm sorry you're ruining your life. You sound like a good young man that could have a very productive life, but you chose to get in this organization that has brainwashed you, and they're going to keep you there for the rest of your life and you won't experience what it's like to live in the real world because you're in a cocoon. You're in your little bubble, and I feel very sorry for you. That you'll never know what it's like.
And so I don't feel bad about the conversation, but
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. So, anyway, I wish you good luck, and I hope that you come to your senses, and I hope you will look objectively at other organizations or religions, and and make up your own mind. Please don't serve these people who are at the head of your organization that have their $1 million homes and they have their $100,000 cars and they're buying $800 worth of alcohol every month because of people like you who contribute money to them. You're not contributing to God. If you want to contribute money, go buy $100 worth of groceries and deliver it to a family that can't afford to eat that week or that day. Do that for them. Don't contribute your $100 to alcohol for the heads of your church. Man, wake up, will you? Wake up. All right. Thank you for the conversation. Bye.
So thank you, Sherman, again. We appreciate it, and thank you all for listening to it and my commentary. And I want to thank everyone for your emails and comments. And thank you for the cards for my birthday. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Very much appreciated. So you all have a wonderful week. Bye.